What's up, laddies? My name is Chaz, and welcome to the custom card review of an updated version of Soul of Justice. So, if you haven't seen the old one, I went over the all the way to from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But now there's 5 more, or actually 4 because this one is actually a soul. So, yes. So, if you guys don't remember, it's because probably it's something happened or video get corrupted or something. But please leave a like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if this video gets one more like, then I might do it. I might duel Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh! Because in his Seal of Alicalcos or Alicalcos challenge, because I feel like this deck might beat his. So I will tag him in it. And if you guys don't heard or know about him, he isn't just hit the tagged person in it. And spam his chat in the about you should try dueling Chaz, man. Or yeah. So now let's begin. So let me redo this. So ready? So we got Soul of the Justice Flame. It's a fire level 4 and fairy effect monster. Basically so this is just based on real life people stories. Like how we are all just part of souls that would choose light or darkness. So, and none gave us flames. Giants give us yeah. So this is so, and this archetype, the Soul of Justice, is main focus is basically banishing cards. So let's begin. So if this card is normal summon, you can select 5 cards from any graveyard, so any other, banish them. And if you do, or if it does, then draw 2 cards from the top of your deck to your hand. If this card is special summoned, though, so it has 2 effects, and sorry if I'm itching my eye. So you can pay 100 life points, negate all cards from your opponents till the end of your 3rd turn. So your opponent can't do nothing, can't activate any card effects but they can summon monsters and all that stuff. If this card is sent to the grave or banished, you can shovel this card into the deck, special summon 1 Soul of Justice monster from your hand or deck to your field in attack mode, except this card. You take no damage evolving this card, so basically, yeah. And then we got Chooser, or Choose. Chooser, or Choose, is a Earth level 4 fairy tuner effect monster. So this one is like Paths of Destiny kind. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can toss a coin. and activate one of these following effects for once per turn. Heads, both players draw 2 cards from the top of their decks to their hands, and also gains 2,000 life points. Tails, both players mill 4 cards from the top of their decks to the graveyard, and also both players lose 4,000 life points. So, and if this card is sent to the graveyard or banner zone, it's basically similar, yeah. But this represents, like, basically how good is people, or testing a person's choosing. Like, you could choose, like, basically, heads is basically you will be, like, successful in your life span. Tails is, like, you would end up as a failure, and it's like being on a nice list or naughty list of your choosing. It's a human choices. We got Light Lord that has almost a similar effect, but this one represents the, like, if you want things like greedy, that's on one hand, or peaceful, like the other. So, like, what it means is basically, so heads, once per turn during your end phase, you can send one monster you control to the graveyard, except this card. Skip your opponent's turn, next turn. And then Tails, once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you can shuffle 3 cards from your banner zone into the deck. Skip your opponent's next battle phase. And this card's effects cannot be negated by card effects and cannot be changed by card effects. So, yeah. So this represents, like, greed on one hand or peaceful on the other. So then we got the Darkness Lord, that once it's flipped is basically select one dark monster or one, either the other ones, and special summon it to your field and inflict 500 damage to your opponent's life points. Once per turn, during your end phase, you can shuffle 3 cards from your graveyard or banner zone into the deck. This card gains 1,000 attack and defense. You take no damage evolving this card, and yeah. So, and then we got Guardian Raven, is a dark level 7 monster. Hunter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Level 8 monster with 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. And it's a beast warrior, so, and plus its effects are, this card cannot be any normal summon or set, must be special summoned by banishing 3 cards from your field, graveyard, or hand to the banner zone. And once per turn, during your standby phase, you can select 1 card from your opponent's deck or their graveyard to be banished. Inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent's life points. This card is unaffected by card effects or by your opponent's card effects, and this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. and you take no damage evolving this card. So, yeah. So, each one of these have a meaning. So, like, basically, the darkness, or so I kind of went over the light. If you wanted to be greedy, like, it's all just going to be my turn anyways. And then darkness, Lord, is basically basically, because some people choose to embrace their darkness or their light side. So, like, you can bring out this with, and yeah, and then you could banish them to, like, use this one to bring out this one. And Lightning Lord is basically it's a Fiend Tuner monster. This card cannot be normal. So, this one, Raven, or Guardian Raven, is basically a messenger or sending like monsters or cards or humans to the, like, basically to cleaning up after. Yeah. So then we got the Lightning Lord. This represents, like, the, basically, this card cannot attack directly during, or actually, this card cannot attack during the turn it is summoned. So basically a tuner monster. And this card gains 2,000 attack and defense. Or no, attack for each card in your hand. While you control this card, or this face-up card, your opponent skips their next turn, or draw phase, and this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and you take no damage evolving this card. So basically, this is a floodgate thing. It locks your opponent down for pretty much yeah. So then we got, let me skip over to this one. So this one is based on a trap card. I think Monster Reborn or something. Like a trap card that was meant for Monster Reborn. And yeah. But this card is basically, you can, if your opponent activates a Seal of Alicalcos, you can discard this card from your hand. Negate the effects of that Seal of Alicalcos. And if you do, then banish it. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card into your deck, or banish zone. Draw 4 cards from the top of your deck. So basically, it has 2 effects. Basically, its first effect is basically the, like, banishing the Seal of Alicalcos, and you can, and if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it to draw 4 cards. So then we got the, Sea Lord. She's a water level 12. That's the maximal of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. She's a spellcaster, effect monster with questionable attack and questionable defense. And I made her into a boss monster of the archetype, basically. This card cannot be normal summon or set. Must first be special summoned by banishing all cards from both players' graveyards to their battlestones. This card gains 500 attack and defense for each banished cards from each player's graveyards. And once per turn during your draw phase, you can select 2 cards from your deck or Urbanizone to your hand instead of normal draw phase, and then inflict 500 damage to your opponent's life points. And this card can attack your opponent's life points directly, and you take no damage evolving this card. And if the duelist, this is going to be the anime like Seal of Alicalcos to be fused with it. Like the anime version of Seal of Alicalcos, where in the anime is basically whoever loses the duel loses their soul. So this one is if the duelist who loses the duel or leaves the duel while this card is on your field must forfeit their soul to the winner of the duel. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. So I did try using her in a duel, and I won against a duelist that has this username. Duelist with Eyes of Blue. It's Dark, level 1, Beast Warrior, Spirit, Tuner, Normal, Monster. And it was 0 attack and 0 defense. And its flavor text reads, their last words were, anyway, here, he's not feeling like unbalanced cards today. Log that off. So then, yeah. So now how long has this video been? Let's see. Okay. Not that long. Okay, good. Yes. So, that was all the monsters. Now we're gonna do the spell cards. So we got Soul of the Justice Powers. You can pay 1,000 life points to special summon the Flame. Aim in attack mode, but its attack points get set to 5,000 until the end of the turn, until the end of your next turn. And then, because you're basically using your own life energy to bring out it's kind of like ritual. Oh, cards. Yeah. So, yeah. And you're basically also praying to it. So now, let's do the spell cards first. So I already did monsters, now spells. So we got Soul of the Justice Paths. If both players have one or more cards in their banish zone, pay 2,000 life points. Each player swaps their cards into the current banish zone with the cards in their deck. Then shuffle their deck. You can only activate one Soul of the Justice Paths once per duel. So, yeah. So, this was based on a trap card I forgot the name of the trap card. Yeah. And then there's this one, Soul of the Re-Choice. So, this card, You can shuffle 2 cards from your hand or graveyard or banistone into the deck. Draw 5 cards from the top of your deck to your hand. And if this card isn't in your banistone, you can, or graveyard, you can shuffle this card into the deck. Banish all cards on your opponent's field to the banistone. So, like, you could either use its first effect, is basically to like shovel 2 cards back into your deck and then draw 5 cards. And then then we got today's card, Soul of Justice, Eye of Truth. It's a quick play spell card where you can shovel 1 card from your graveyard or banistone into the deck, or into your deck. Look into your opponent's hand or deck, or into their deck, and then you can select 2 cards from it and then banish them to the banistone. And if you do, both players draw 3 cards from the top of their deck. So, like, you can shuffle card into the... So, basically, you can shovel cards into your deck. And you could look into your opponent's, like, let's see. Oh, I'm going to take away 2 of your cards. And then, but that's okay. We both will draw 3 cards. So that's pretty much a lot. Now, the trap cards, I only made 1 trap card. Soul of the Judge and Grave Grabber. So this card, I will have to explain it after we go over its effects. This card can only be activated if your opponent declares an attack. So you can shuffle 1 card from your banistone into the deck, negate it, and then banish it. Banished it to the banistone. This card cannot be negated by your opponent's card effects. So, like, let's say you had, like, the bird out, the guardian raven, and you send him, or with like 3 or 2 others, you could activate this effect because your opponent attacks into, like, your bird. You activate the trap card, and you basically banishing your opponent. Like, imagine if it was animated. Like, its arms would stretch out, grabs your opponent's monster, brings them into the banistone. Because banistone in this card, or banistone for this archetype, is like the judging them. So each one is like a graveyard. So each one represents, like, different things. Like how humanity is always choosing what path to go by. And no, I'm not a priest or whatever, I just thought, because the cards that I used to make this archetype was called Soul Release, Solemn Judgment, and Foolish Burial. Well, those three I combined into this archetype to make this archetype. So some of these have negations. Like their main focus is basically like this card, special summons. You could pay 1,000 life points to negate all card effects. That's similar to Solemn Judgment. And if you had to bring Peaceful using his effect, yeah. Basically, cards, each one represents like they're humans that are like basically they're humanity's choices in life. Like you could choose something good and get rewarded for good behavior stuff, or get punished by the monsters. Or so basically like the Raven will punishes those, like your opponent, if let's say a card, this one makes your opponent loses, or makes both players lose life points. And yeah. But then there's, and plus cards like this are way more powerful than they should have been. So, and plus it teaches them to be more like be on stage, or be more focused on it, or else they'll get punished and their souls will be like how I did it to this person. And reason why I put it flavor text is their last words were, anyway, not feeling like unbalanced cards today. So logs off. So the first part was the 3 double lines. Anyway, not feeling like unbalancing cards today. So that was his line, or their line. So if you see this duelist, tell him that, or tell them that they have lost their soul. Because in the duel, I activated, so I summoned her, and basically, yeah, he had 13. Or he had 13 cards in his Banner Stone because of her summoning condition. And so basically 500 each. So she basically has similar effects to like the whatever that card's called, the I am not gonna do that. So like Karns, I forget their cards that gains attack. points in from the banished cards. So, like, I used kind of like this card earns, but instead of like 4,000, it would be 5,000. And her, basically, she can banish all the cards from the graveyard. So she's like basically cleaning out all the graveyards to like the banish zone home. So to summon her, it's like she's saying, "Get out of the way, graveyard. I'm gonna be here now. I'm gonna gain attack points." So yeah, then she can. Plus, she can do a lot of attack points. Like, you could just be around your opponent. Like, she could fly up to them, and you could, and whack them on the head and make them lose, like, a lot of attack points, or life points. And, yeah. So, plus if they leave the duel because of rage or something, they just forfeit their soul to this. Just ask the monster that is, or ask a duelist that how lost their soul thing. Yeah, so, and then Eye of Truth is basically, you could bring back certain cards to your hand or to your deck so that you could just banish other cards. So, and then speaking of Alcalcos, this would be its negation. So basically, your opponent can't even do anything. Like, basically, your opponent can't, like, if your opponent activates card effects, you can banish them. Boom. Oh, no. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. You could negate their effects and, yeah. So, if you guys want me to do a new archetype, but this is a challenge for all of you. If you guys want me to do, just send it in 3 card names. Like, example would be like, for number 1 would be skill drain, mixed with the change of heart and the forbidden items things. Stuff like that you could just use. So if you guys want me to do that kind, just send them down and I will review them. And yeah, do you like this archetype? First of all, where it's basically, I know some of these cards are more broken than others. Like this one doesn't allow your opponent to draw cards. Earns and the, So, peace out, Cub Scouts, and have good night or day, depending on the time zones. And the Duel Logs, or Florentine Yu-Gi-Oh!, or Hard Like Joe, I will challenge all three of you to one-on-one versus one-on-one, basically. So peace out.